facilities in Chicago, and like, what are Christians doing about it? You know, like, what are Christians living the same way they would live if born people were being taken into killing centers and massacred on a regular basis? You know, like, we would live differently, wouldn't we? Wouldn't most Christians act differently? But when it's preborn children, they don't have the same sense of urgency.
Well, the thing is, they don't realize that this is God's creation. That's the problem.
Well, Christians do. People, professing Christians do. And they still are discriminating. They're not treating these children the same way they treat born children. They don't give them the same love. They don't give them the same attention. They don't act with the same sense of urgency when they're being mass murdered.
What I don't understand when you say Christians are persecuting.
No, Christians are not acting like preborn children have the same value as born children. You see what I'm saying?
But those mothers that are in that position, they don't view their unborn children as being God's creation.
Right. I'm not talking about the people who are murdering their children. I'm talking about the Christians who are not murdering their children, who are ignoring this, who are acting like it's no big deal, who are not trying to rescue these children from death. That's what I'm talking about.
I see, as a group together. What would you recommend, or what would you say would be the appropriate step?
Like thousands of people showing up to the killing centers to shut them down with the sheer number of people in front of them. Like thousands of people going out to the public to expose this evil on a regular basis and preach the gospel. Get outside of the church building and get outside of all the nice little churchy programs, and to like go out and confront the sin where it's happening, like rescue the people from death where it's happening, not sleeping in our beds on Saturday morning when we know when and where children are being massacred on Saturday morning. Like making a big deal about it, like changing the culture. The culture needs to be changed because it's a culturally normal, acceptable thing to do to murder your own child. That means we have to change culture by reaching millions of people on a regular basis with the truth, influencing what they're seeing, what they're hearing, and what they're talking about. That's how you change culture. But the churches aren't doing that. So I need to go tell people to do that.
You're right, because the people or the women that are in that position, they're in the mindset that that's the only way out.
Some of them are. Some of them are just doing it for convenience.
That's what I'm saying. It's like for selfish reasons.
But like, we could change the culture. We could make it culturally unacceptable to murder your child if enough people were speaking loudly enough on a regular basis about it and taking action to rescue these children on a regular basis, exposing the evil. And the Christians aren't doing that. So
it's our culture who is accepting that also.
Yeah, we have to change the culture. So like it's happening. Like, people are being destroyed through birth control, hormonal birth control. People are being destroyed through in vitro fertilization, and the churches are just their actions are pathetic. They're donating to crisis pregnancy centers, and they're going to the March for Life once a year, and they might stand outside of Planned Parenthood and pray a little bit a few times a year, but like, they're not living like people are being massacred, and they're not living like it's going to happen tomorrow morning in this area.
I see the urgency.
Where they live, right. And they would have the same kind of urgency. I mean, they would have so much more urgency if these were born children we were talking about.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Check out those websites.
Thanks, man.
Yep. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Like, if thousands of born people were being taken into killing centers every day in this country, how would we live our lives? How would Christians live their lives? I think they would live them differently than they are now when they're murdering preborn children in killing centers by the thousands every day across the nation. So there's discrimination going on. They're treating people differently based on their age.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yep. Would you like one, ma'am?
Looked at it that way.
Yeah, check out these websites. Kids need your help. They're being mass murdered at Planned Parenthood not far from here on a regular basis. They're being destroyed by birth control. They're being destroyed through in vitro fertilization. Yeah. We need to be a loud voice for them because they don't have a voice. We need to be visible for them because they're not visible.
So you're wanting to what? What is your goal?
I'm trying to abolish abortion.
Oh, you have a camera on.
I do.
Is it live? Oh,
it's not live, but it's running.
Red, light.
Yeah, it's running.
Well, that's a little creepy.
Why? Why?
Well, I don't walk around with the camera. Why do you?
I have a YouTube channel, and I expose religious hypocrites.
Okay. Well,
And
sorry. You were answering my question. I interrupted you with the camera. So.
Yeah. So I'm trying to abolish abortion,
Right.
and I have to go to the people of God to awaken them to take bold, urgent action, to be a loud voice for these kids, to go to the killing facilities to seek to rescue them, to go out into the culture to be a voice for them, so that the culture can change, so that people stop thinking it's okay to murder their own children, so that people start thinking it's murder because the people who say that it's murder start acting like it's murder.
So if I hear you correctly, you're saying that church groups aren't getting involved enough?
Right.
Yeah.
They're church. Each individual Christian has a responsibility to obey God's commands. In the book of Proverbs,
All people do.
Right. All people.
Whether they're Christian or not, they
Right.
all do.
Right, and I'm talking right now about exhorting the church. The churchgoers who need to take action. So, the churchgoers are commanded in Proverbs 24:11 to rescue those who are being taken away to death and to hold back those who are stumbling to the slaughter. So it's not a special calling. Every single person is called to rescue people from death. And what do we have right now? We have tons of people who need to be rescued from death, a catastrophic amount of people being murdered. And so that means we need tons of people to rescue them from death and to abolish it.
So I have another question. Besides, going to churches and doing this type of activism, are you making appointments to meet with key members of the church to kind of say, hey, I need some support here to, work with these Planned Parenthood people to bring attention to this subject?
I don't have to talk to leadership. I mean, I might be able to have a meeting with a guy who invited me to meet with him at 7 o'clock tomorrow.
I think they would be open to listening to what you think would be good ways to get more involved. I don't think they would be opposed to it. And
I can do that, and I can also be out here and reach everybody.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying that. I didn't never say this was a bad thing. I'm just
Okay.
Right,
asking
reaching
what else
out
you were
is
doing
always
besides
good.
this.
But
Yeah.
also too to make people aware, and especially the women who are in that kind of a bondage or that kind of a mentality, to make them aware that this is God's creation. It's not them. You know what I'm saying? Because that's either they're at the end of their ropes, they find no other way, or they're selfish, or they feel that they're just not aware of it. Yeah. That this is God's creation, that it's not just about them.
Right, that's why we need to go out and tell everybody that, but that's not happening.
Have you seen you probably have I don't know if you have the vans. They're like, what are the people that do the ultrasounds? Thank you.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Have you seen those?
I've seen it.
So cool. Do we even have something like that around here? Because I don't know. I'm just throwing a question out because I've seen that online and through videos online.
Yeah.
And you see how it really affects the person, the pregnant person's mind. They're like, wow, I need to think twice. Oh wait, what are my other options?
This is a picture of blah,
that was
blah,
so
blah.
empowering when I saw those. I don't know who shared it with
It's
me.
a reality of seeing this actually.
Maybe a church could support something like that. Who knows?
Yeah. There's pregnancy centers where people can go for ultrasounds to see their baby. And I believe everybody.
A vehicle up in front and being like, hey, stop in here for 2 minutes. I'll give you a free ultrasound.
I mean,
Listen to this. You know what? That's not a bad idea, actually.
I mean, like, it might work.
I don't personally have any health issues, for just an example.
Yeah.
But one day I walked in here and they had the free, I don't know,
Blood
health
pressure
screening stuff. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I'm already here. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. And I got these results. I would have never gone to a health place to do that. But because they were where I was already headed, like they're already going to, unfortunately, Planned Parenthood or whatever.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
in this van with these welcoming people that aren't judging
You
them.
know what?
Say,
That's not.
try
Yeah,
this.
yeah. It's not a judging thing, and it's an
Maybe
awareness.
What's wrong with
could
judging?
help doing something like that.
What's
you
wrong
know?
with judging?
Well, the judging is
Not
is,
for us to do. It's for the higher.
yeah.
What do you mean by
Lord.
judging? When you say judging, what do you mean by that?
Well, in other words, a person, if they come to something like an invite here, come and see your unborn child, you're not necessarily judging them what they're doing, but you're actually making them aware of, you know what, there is something outside of themselves.
When you say the word judging, what do you mean? Like, what is a person doing when they're judging? Because I think
They're making a decision about what that person has done or what they're going to do
Or they're
how
going
they look.
through.
well,
Just like doing
Yeah.
an interview. I
well-
meet you and I think, oh, I don't want to talk to him. He's got a beard. I don't
Okay.
like people with beards. I'm
Exactly.
judging you that
Yeah.
you're a bad person based on something I see or hear or say.
well, I think we should judge that people are bad people when they come to a killing facility to murder their children, right? That's not a
I
bad
don't
judgment
know.
to make. It's just an
It's
obvious
not
fact.
for me to judge that.
Is it a
D-
judging?
What do you mean? Isn't it an obvious
I
fact
look
that
at
people
it as
who
an
come to a
opportunity.
killing facility to murder their children are bad people?
Maybe they
But
don't
they might
really
not aware of
understand
it.
that
They may not be aware of it.
that a
This is the
baby
thing.
is a real person.
Yes.
So
I
you
think
don't
it's an
think that
opportunity for
full-grown
people to
adults, you don't think that people who are pregnant, who have come for abortion, you don't think that they understand that they've created a new human
They may
being?
not. I don't know.
Honestly,
I don't
they
know.
don't.
That's kind of
They do.
insulting to their intelligence.
It is.
Some
No,
of them
for
might.
you to say that, because
no.
it's kind of like most people understand what they're doing.
I don't
They
know.
understand why they need to have an abortion because there's the human being that they need to
Maybe
get rid
a lot
of.
of them do, maybe
Some of them are
don't. I
ignorant,
don't know.
but like I think the vast majority know that what they're doing is wrong. Don't you think? And they have that God-given conscience
know.
that it's wrong, and they still go to Planned Parenthood to do that.
but there's-
And you can judge that is wrong, and that they are selfish, bad people
selfish.
for
So
doing
is your
that.
YouTube channel on here?
It is not. It's
what
it's
is it?
it's Matthew Wiersma. That's just my name.
goodness,
If you just
yeah.
you can type it in your
write it
phone right
down,
now, and
'cause I'll never get
you
on
can
that.
find it right
It's
now. Yeah, there's a lot of good footage on there of
Here.
the work that I
Oh.
do.
It's cold out. It's gonna move slow, right?
No, but as far as
Matthew with 2 T's?
Yes,
I have a son, Matthew. And how do you spell your last name? W?
Wiersema.
And that's just on YouTube, right?
Yep.
That's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check you guys out. Hopefully, we can help you get more people involved.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
Everybody
just
has
it's not
different ways of solving issues and getting involved. And
it's not as much about
this
like
is one way, and there's other
There's-
ways. And
yeah, exactly, and that's and you are doing
Thanks.
are
Nice to
doing
meet
the
you.
right thing.
yeah,
You
praise
know,
God.
But praise God is right, and it's just to make aware that every human being that's created is a creation of God,
Yeah,
not of themselves.
Right, we need to go out and proclaim that to the masses.
Because
the
some
masses
are
don't
blinded.
understand that.
Remember, it's like even Christ said that there are people who are blinded to things.
Yes.
Whether it's and we need to
that could
open
be
their eyes.
Some of those
is
people
Right.
basically
go into
what it
Planned
is.
Parenthood.
Right.
Because for whatever reason they're blinded.
Well, I mean, I think they know what they're doing, but they've believed lies and they comfort themselves in their sin. They don't want to acknowledge God and the work of the law that He's written on their heart,
Correct.
and so they hold on to these culturally ingrained lies that
Correct.
comfort them, and we need to
Correct.
destroy those lies.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the thing is bringing light to it.
Yep.
And that's
Yep.
all that God
Well,
requires
it
us to
definitely gives
do.
us an opportunity to serve, you know?
serve
Yeah.
that way.
Is there a church that you're associated with already that we could combine efforts with, or you're just kind of a one-man show, or what's your?
I'm part of the Abolitionist Society of Aurora. It's a small group of Christians. It's not on there, but we meet in Batavia for fellowship on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
At a business called Batavia Parcel at 6:30. If you ever want to show up, that's where we'll be most of the time.
But bring this up to actually the elders here to join forces and you know, is an outreach program or outreach of some kind to just, you know, shed the light on things.
I could do that. We'll see what happens.
But thank you for sharing, because
Yeah.
it is important.
Yeah, I'd encourage you to go out to Planned Parenthood to be a voice for these kids. I'd encourage you both to do that. We need women out there to be a voice for them,
to
you
be a
know?
voice.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, because
I should check out that van thing.
yeah, the van thing is a great idea.
I've seen that a few times, and it seems very powerful to me.
Yeah. I mean,
They're ridiculously
the reality
expensive.
of things,
Probably,
yes.
but you know what?
I think
Where does the money come from?
I
You know?
I think that
Anything is
I think it would be I think it
Anything is
would, that money would be more effectively used at like buying like billboards and like a ton of like signage to put up everywhere that educates the public about this, that reaches millions of people.
I think multiple efforts, yes. I
Multiple,
agree.
actually. Thank you, Matthew.
Yeah.
Once again, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Same
I'll check
here,
out your
Matthew.
YouTube
Thank you.
channel.
Awesome.